You're in tune to the Paperflip Real Estate Podcast.
Homebuyers, sellers, renters, and investors. I'm Lloyd for Real Estate. This is the Paperflip Podcast. To all my homebuyers out there, you've been out on the grind, looking, trying to find that perfect home. Got all your ducks in a row, saved up your money, been looking. Things just not turning out the way that you would like. You've been thinking that maybe you may have to settle for something that you don't actually want because of the low inventory in today's market. At least that's the situation here in the Chicago area and a whole lot of other areas in the Midwest and abroad. So what do? It looks like it's out of reach. You don't know exactly which way you should turn, how home affordability or just finding a home that's available, period, regarding inventory is becoming kind of a thing that's very, very hard for you. I feel you. Today's briefing is going to cover 5 essential secrets, and they really are not secrets. It's information that's been out there, but to put it together as a strategy and bring it all to one place, well, that's what today's video is all about. 5 secrets to affording your first home in today's crazy market. What do you do? So let's get into it. Now, does the dream of owning your first home feels completely out of reach in this crazy market today? You know, you've seen the headlines, you hear about the high prices and the wild interest rates, and it's just plain discouraging. You feel like you're doing everything you're supposed to do. You're saving, you're working hard, but the goalpost just keeps moving further and further away. Now, trust me, you're not alone in feeling this way. There's a lot of people that feel that way and are frustrated with today's market, today's interest rates, today's inventory. But what if I told you there are a few key strategies that most home buyers completely overlook? What if the standard advice you've been hearing is what's actually holding you back? Imagine that. Well, today I'm going to break down these 5 secrets that can open the door to your first home, even in today's trying market. And no, these are not your typical just save more money tips. You just got to save more money. You're not saving enough. These are the real world strategies that can help you clear your bigger financial hurdles and finally get the keys to your own place. So today we're going to look at how a small but savvy group of first-time home buyers are making it happen right now and what you can do. So let's jump into it. Here is so-called secret number 1. Secret number 1. And this is called a house hacking multiplier. House hacking. Might have heard of the term house hacking. And this first secret is it's a process to rethink what your first home is and what it even needs to be. Most of us have this picture of a single family house with a neat little yard, but the smartest first time buyers are thinking like investors from day one. You never looked at yourself as an investor. You look at as a person that needs to get their first home, ready to get out the apartment you've been staying in or you living with family members. So you don't look at yourself as an investor. I get that. I know I didn't. But people are getting into home ownership with this thing called house hacking. I'm going to tell you a bit about it. Now, house hacking is simply buying a property with more than one unit. You're living in one and then you're renting out the other ones. So think about a 2-unit, 3-unit, or even a small 4-unit building. Now, the cool part about this is you often can buy these with a standard home loan, like a FHA loan, with as little as 3.5% down, because you're only going to be living in one of the units. So now all of a sudden, you're not just a homeowner, but you're also a landlord. See where the investor part comes in at? Not just a homeowner, but now you're also a landlord. You actually have a business with the home hacking strategy. And the rent that you end up collecting from your tenants goes straight towards your mortgage payment. So let's do the math real quick. Imagine your total mortgage on a duplex is $4,000 a month, $4,000. But you rent out the other unit for $2,000. Your actual out-of-pocket housing cost suddenly is cut in half down to just $2,000. Certain situations, the rental income can cover your entire mortgage, which means you essentially are living for free. This completely changes the math in terms of affordability. Instead of your income alone having to carry the entire mortgage, you now have a property that helps pay for itself. And this idea isn't just for multi-family homes. You could actually rent out spare rooms in your bigger single-family house, or buy a place with a finished basement apartment or separate cottage out back that you can rent out. Call it the mother-in-law house. You may have seen some of these houses that look like they have an extra garage or a little small house in the back of the house. But this is something that you can rent out, and usually may have one bedroom and a bathroom in it. You can use that as a rental. The key is to start seeing your first home as a income producing asset, and it's not just a place for you to live. Takes a huge amount of risk off the table by lowering your monthly costs and helps you build equity way faster. It is a game changer for getting your foot in the door when a traditional house feels impossible. So this is another way of getting you into a home and starting a business at the same time, because you are renting out one of the other units in a 2, 3, or 4 unit apartment building. You live in one and rent out the other units, therefore creating a business. Now here's the second secret. Second strategy. And this is called the down payment treasure map. Down payment treasure map. So this second secret is realizing that the down payment doesn't all have to come out of your pocket. There's a huge and honestly confusing world of money out there, specifically for first-time home buyers. Best way to think about it is less like a single program and more like a hidden treasure map. Talking about down payment assistance programs, or we call them DPAs. Now, there are literally thousands of them across the country, well over 2,000 different options available nationwide. And here's the part that most people get wrong. These programs aren't just for low-income families. A lot of them are designed for middle-income buyers with income limits that are surprisingly high. Now, this helps come in a few different flavors here. Some are straight-up grants, which is free money you never have to pay back. Maybe 3% or more of the home's price in an instance. Others are forgivable loans. This is where you get a loan for your down payment, usually at 0% interest. And if you live in the home for a set amount of time, let's say 5 or 10 years, then the loan is completely forgiven. You owe nothing. Now, for instance, New York City's Home First program can offer qualified buyers up to $100,000 in assistance. That's forgiven after living in a home for 10 to 15 years, though the exact amounts and terms always depend on funding and your situation. Now, there are also deferred payment loans where you don't have to pay it back until you sell or refinance the house down the road. You just have to know where to look. Start by searching for your state's housing finance agency, then dig up into the county and city level programs that they have. Some even offer extra help for people in certain jobs, like teachers, firefighters, or healthcare workers. Finding and stacking these programs can obliterate the single biggest barrier to owning a home and getting you in the door years sooner than you ever thought you could. So you can try that out. Now, again, this is a strategy. It's the down payment treasure map. Let's get into secret number 3 here, which is called the lending stacking strategy. Lending stacking strategy. Third secret is to treat getting a mortgage like you negotiating a major business deal, because that's exactly what it is. Now, most people talk to one bank, they get a rate, and just assume that that's the best that they can get. And that's a big mistake. Savvy buyers know that the real secret is to make lenders compete for their business. I call this the lender stacking strategy. The lender stacking strategy. This goes way beyond just getting pre-qualified for a loan. You need to get fully pre-approved by at least 3 to 4 different types of lenders at the same time. Don't just go to your big old national bank. Make sure you include a local credit union in there, a dedicated mortgage broker, and a good online lender all at the same time. Each one of these have different costs, different rules, and access to different loan products, so their offers can be wildly different. Now, once your offer on a house ends up getting accepted, what you do is you send that property address to all 3 or 4 of these different types of lenders. In a few days, they'll each send you an official loan estimate. This is a standardized form that breaks down every single cost, from the interest rate and the origination fees to the appraisal and title insurance. Now, this is where the fun begins. This is where things take off. You take the best offer, and maybe that might come from the credit union, or you go back to some of the other offers. You can literally say, I love to work with you, but I have a written offer here from another lender with a lower rate and no origination fees. Can you match or beat it? That's a conversation you're going to have with the other lenders. Can you match or beat it? It's a strategy, because again, you deal with more than one type of lender. Can you match or beat it? This is where your leverage really kicks in. Can you match or beat it? These lenders know that you are a serious and a qualified buyer, and they do not want to lose you. They already pre-approved you. You'd be amazed how often they'll come back with a better offer, either by dropping the rate, waiving some fees, or giving you a credit. You're not just simply shopping for a rate. You are actually negotiating for an entire deal. Now, this simple strategy can save you thousands of dollars in closing costs up front and tens of thousands over the life of your loan. If you're finding these secrets helpful, and this whole home ownership thing is starting to feel a little more possible for you, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button for me. My whole goal with this channel is to give you the real actionable advice you need to build wealth through real estate. And I really want to hear from you. What's the single biggest challenge you're facing on your home buying journey right now? What are you dealing with? What are some of the things that are becoming difficult for you to get into that new home? Like I said at the beginning of the briefing, you've done everything that you're supposed to do. You saved up, you got your credit score in order, got all your ducks in a row. So what is that challenge? Drop it down in the comments below, and let's see if we can figure this thing out together. And let's get on to secret number 4. Secret number 4, and this is called the 28-36 rule, which is a trap. 28-36 rule is a trap. I'm going to tell you about it. Now, the 4th secret is realizing that one of the oldest rules in personal finance is actually a trap in today's market. Now, I'm talking about this 28-36 rule. You probably heard of it. You shouldn't spend more than 28% of your gross monthly income on housing, and no more than 36% on all your debt combined. So no more than 28% on your monthly income to pay for your mortgage, and you shouldn't carry no more than 36% debt combined, your total debt. Lenders have used this for decades, and you will hear that this is the ratios that they look at. 28-36 rule. More than 28% for your mortgage, and a more than 36% in debt total. But here's the problem with that. That rule was born totally in a different world, one which much lower home prices and interest rates during the time that they came up with it. So if you stick to that 28% rule today, you might conclude you can't afford a home, which makes you feel defeated and makes you feel like giving up. And I don't want you to do that. Or you might find a home that fits the rule, but it's in a neighborhood you don't want to be in, or it needs a ton of work. The secret is to ignore this outdated rule and build your budget from a life first perspective. Instead of letting a bank formula tell you what you can afford, you tell your money what matters to you. And here's how you do it. Sit down and list every single one of your non-negotiable monthly expenses. I mean everything, like your car payment, your student loans, your credit cards, and of course, anything else that's important to you. But also, and this is the key part, your savings goals, your retirement contributions, your travel fund, and even what you spend on hobbies and going out. Your kick it budget. Be brutally honest about your lifestyle and what you actually want to do and how you want to live. Be honest with yourself and how you would like to allocate and how you like to spend your money. And after all of that is accounted for, the amount that you have left over is your real personalized housing budget. Now that's the number you can actually afford without feeling house poor or giving up on the things that you love. You might find you can comfortably handle 35% of your income going toward housing because you don't have other debt. So it may not be a problem with putting 35% a month going toward paying your mortgage down and get that house that you want. You don't have a problem with it because everything else is secured or taken care of. Your other debt is taken care of. Or maybe 25% is your max because you'd rather travel around the world. This puts you back in the driver's seat. That's what I want to say. Put you back in the driver's seat and make sure that buying a home makes your life a lot better and not smaller. And that's really the goal. That's really the goal. So here's the last secret. This is secret number 5, and that's assembling your off-market deal team. Assembling your off-market deal team. And this is some things that investors do. But you as a home buyer, you can actually use this secret number 5, assembling your off-market deal team. Now, this final secret is something most people don't even know about. The best deals often are invisible to the public. The general public don't even see these deals. While everyone else is endlessly scrolling through Zillow and looking through Redfin, the smart buyers are finding properties before they even hit the market. And these are called off-market deals. And the key to finding them is putting together the right team to find these off-market deals. And this isn't just about finding one good real estate agent. It's about building a smart network of insiders. Of course, your team needs to be a super connected local agent who hears about pocket listings before they go to the public. It should also include your lender who can signal to sellers that you are a real serious buyer who can close without any drama. You've been pre-approved, remember, in the other secret, but it goes a little deeper than that. Start building relationships with real estate wholesalers. These are people whose entire job is to find distressed properties for buyers. And that's what I did starting out in the real estate industry. In fact, that was the first single thing that I did. I started out in 2012 as a wholesaler. So flipping the contracts, but I would go out and find these off-market deals and bring it back to investors. But it can go for home buyers as well. And these usually are properties that need some work or has some level of distress. It could be distress coming from the seller. They might be in a financial situation or a financial crunch, and they need to get a hold to some funds. And usually the biggest asset is coming from the home that they own. And they don't have the money to do the repairs, and that means there could be a huge discount to you, and especially if you're a cash buyer. But this could mean an opportunity for you. But not to drift off the subject, but that's what wholesalers do. You can also talk to contractors, property managers, and even real estate attorneys. These are the people who hear the whisperers about homeowners who are thinking about selling long before the for sale sign even touches the yard. So they be knowing. These people you want to be around. You can even take matters into your own hands with a strategy called driving for dollars. Now, you literally drive through neighborhoods you love and look for homes that look a little neglected. Maybe the lawn is overgrown or the paint is peeling. Abandoned cars in the driveway, things like that. Then you can look up the property, public records, and send a nice, polite, personalized letter to the homeowner saying that you love the home and would be interested in buying it if they would consider selling it. That's another strategy, driving for dollars. So this totally flips the whole script. Instead of getting into a bidding war with a dozen other buyers over a house everyone has seen online on your Zillows and your Redfins, you're often the only one making an offer on these off-market properties sometimes. This gives you an incredible negotiating power, and it's how you can find amazing homes at a fair price, even if the market is a little crazy. And I would also, to add to that, join your local REIA groups. Not only you buying your first home, or you can do what that first strategy was that I gave you in house hacking. If you do the house hacking method, now you are a landlord, you are an investor, and you may want to get off into it, or maybe you don't. I know people that own 2, 3, and 4 units, and they live in one of the units and rent out the other units. And average, everyday people. These are people that you work with, that you pass by in a grocery store, or people that are your family members. You have family members that do house hacking. They get a 2-unit, a 3-unit, or a 4-unit, live in one of the units, and have some of the other family members stay in the other units, and they collectively pay the mortgage every month. So joining a REIA group or a real estate investment association, these are groups that meet typically once a month, and they get together, and these are investors and people that are seeking real estate. They get together and they state the opportunities that they have. And a lot of wholesalers are there. I have an off-market deal in this neighborhood. I'm looking for XYZ. This is the amount I want for it. Then you negotiate. So that's another strategy. But in today's trying market, you try out different things because certain things work and other things don't. But the savvy investor finds a way to get around it. And it's a little more to just going to Zillow and Redfin and picking out a property, or having an agent showing you around the different houses. You have to really take it to task if you really want to find that house that you want. And again, I did the video on the 203K loans, the FHA loans that you can get. And you can find a distressed property and take and turn it around and fix it up with a 203K loan. So there you have it. Those 5 very real secrets to affording your first home in this difficult market. So here's a quick recap. So that first secret, or that first strategy, was house hacking. Make your first home an income source by renting out a part of it. That was the first one. Number 2, the down payment treasure map, where you find thousands of dollars in grants and forgivable loans that you don't have to pay back. They do exist. And number 3, secret number 3, the lender stacking strategy. This is where you force banks to compete for your business to get the best possible deal. You're talking to mortgage lenders, mortgage brokers, credit unions, the small little bank on the corner in the neighborhood. Check with everybody. Have them compete for your business. Secret number 4, escape the 28-36 trap. It's where you build a budget that fits your life, not some outdated rule. You set the parameters in terms of how much mortgage you want to pay and how much debt you want to carry. And every individual varies. It's not no one set fits everybody. You may be willing to pay a little more in mortgage because you have less debt, or you travel a little less, or it can go in the opposite. Maybe you can pay a little less mortgage based on the amount of debt that you carry. Maybe you like to travel a little more, or you have a little more on your credit cards, and that's okay. That's fine. It's a way to get it worked out. It's the whole point. And then secret number 5 is your off-market deal team. This is where you find hidden gems before they even hit the market. Where you're dealing with wholesalers, you're dealing with your lender, you're dealing with real estate attorneys, you're dealing with contractors to find these off-market deals where you can make an offer on. They're not listed on Zillow or Redfin, or your agent don't bring these to you. Which your agent can bring you pocket listings. These the listings before they hit the market. So look, the path to owning a home today, it is a challenge. There's no doubt about that, but it's not impossible. It just requires you to be smarter, more creative, and more strategic than the average home buyer. By using these few little secrets that I gave you, you can stop feeling like you're at the mercy of the market and start taking control of your future. The dream of owning your first home is still within your reach. You can achieve it. You can do this. You got this. But you got to be able to implement some of these strategies, some of these things I talked about, and some of the things that I share here on this channel. You got to take that leap of faith and jump out here and know that there's other ways of getting a house, and not the typical way of we start out online looking at Zillow and Redfin, then we call up an agent and have them show us some houses, and we don't find nothing, then we figure, hey, that's it. No, it's some other ways of getting it. So if you want to learn some of those ways, I would say you're in the right place here for Lloyd with real estate. You're at the right channel. So thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more secrets to building your financial future. And I will catch you on the next video. This has been Lloyd for Real Estate.